Imagine this. What if you found out your body is running on an invisible kind of energy, something secret societies have known about for hundreds of years, but it's been kept from you by modern medicine and science? Right now, as you're listening to this, unseen forces inside you are either charging you up or quietly draining you. And you probably don't even realize it's happening. Think of it like this. There's an invisible battery inside you, deciding whether you're full of life and strength or sluggish, sick, and easy to control. Long ago, initiates like Max Heindel learned these forbidden secrets directly from a mysterious group in Europe known as the Elder Brothers. They knew how to tap into this hidden life force. So why isn't this part of your school science class or shown on TV? Because whoever controls this life energy controls you. The easiest way to picture it is to think of your body like a smartphone. There's the physical hardware, the screen, the buttons, the case, and then there's the internal battery. You can't see it, but without it, the whole thing is useless. Your muscles, bones, and organs are the hardware. The invisible battery is what Hermetic teachings call the vital or etheric body. In ancient Hermetic texts, this vital body is described as ether, not the chemical ether from old science experiments, but a super subtle field of energy that fills and powers every living thing. Max Heindel, an early 20th century Rosicrucian teacher, wrote entire chapters about it in his book, The Rosicrucian Cosmoconception, claiming he learned the details directly from the Elder Brothers during his initiation. According to him, the vital body is made of 4 different kinds of ether. First, the chemical ether, which handles assimilation and getting rid of waste. Second, the life ether, which enables reproduction. Third, the light ether, which creates warmth in your blood and lets you sense the world. And finally, the reflecting ether, which holds your memories. This isn't just some poetic metaphor. Heindel said it actually works like a power plant in your body. It takes in sunlight through your spleen, yes, that often overlooked organ, and transforms it into a rose-colored energy fluid. Then, just like electricity traveling along telegraph wires, this energy flows through your nervous system, powering everything from cellular repair while you sleep to your ability to grow and heal. And here's the fascinating part. This vital body is an exact duplicate of your physical body, molecule for molecule, organ for organ. The only difference? It's slightly bigger, about 1.5 inches beyond your skin, forming an invisible shield around you. The spleen is the main entry point for solar energy, turning it into that rose-colored fluid that keeps your system running smoothly. Heindel insisted that anyone who followed the Rosicrucian method, practicing concentration and nightly retrospection, could eventually see this process for themselves through spiritual vision. And without this vital energy flow, your consciousness literally can't send commands to your muscles. That's why in paralysis the flow is blocked. While you're in deep sleep, much of this energy pulls back from your physical body so it can focus on repair work. That's why good sleep leaves you feeling recharged. But in death, this withdrawal becomes permanent. And here's an odd but important detail. After a heavy meal, your body uses up a huge chunk of this vital fluid just to digest and process the food. That's when your protective energy shield is at its weakest, which is why people often catch colds or get sick after overindulging. The Rosicrucian school has always advised light, well-chewed meals, especially for spiritual students, so the vital body stays strong and ready for deeper work, and you've probably seen the effect of vital energy in your everyday life. Spend hours in a dark, closed room and your mood and energy drop. Step outside into sunlight for just a few minutes, and suddenly you feel awake and alive again. Or compare how you feel after a week of poor sleep versus a week of deep, regular rest. That's your battery discharging and recharging in real time. According to this teaching, our vital body runs on 3 main types of light energy, each doing something different. Heindel said this was taught to him directly by the Elder Brothers, spiritual beings who guide humanity from a hidden temple in Europe. First, the solar ray, absorbed directly through a center in your forehead, brings mental clarity and spiritual illumination. Second, the planetary rays, taken in through your brain and the spinal cord, develop intelligence, morality, and help the soul grow. And third, the lunar ray, absorbed mainly through your spleen, supports physical growth and regeneration. Plants are a great example of lunar energy at work. They grow faster during the waxen moon, and flower more during the full moon, because they're absorbing that lunar growth force. Humans absorb it too, though in more complex ways. Heindel often used detailed diagrams in his lectures at Mount Ecclesia to show how these cosmic rays move through our subtle bodies. Each of these rays carries 3 main colors, each with a unique job. In the lunar ray, for example, blue starts and germinates life, called life of the Father in old texts. Yellow nourishes and grows what's begun, life of the Son. And red stimulates action and movement, especially in reproduction, life of the Holy Spirit. Together, they keep every living process running. Rosicrucian philosophy sees this as the divine Trinity working directly inside our bodies, not as some abstract religious idea, but as a real, measurable force for those who can see it. Modern science is starting to catch up with some of these ideas. In 2024, for example, researchers at UCLA showed that morning light exposure changes the activity of hundreds of genes in our main body clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus. In other words, light literally reprograms your biology, something Heindel was saying over a century ago. There's even a big difference between humans and animals here. Humans have 31 pairs of spinal nerves matching the solar month. Animals have only 28 pairs matching the lunar month. That's why animals are more tied to moon cycles and instinct, while humans can develop individual consciousness and free will. Heindel believed this wasn't an accident, but the result of millions of years of guided evolution. So how do you use this knowledge? Get up close to sunrise when you can. Let natural light fill your home during the day and wind down at night. Use the waxing moon for active projects and the waning moon for rest and cleansing. The Rosicrucian morning exercises are even timed to match these natural rhythms so your vital body never runs low. The takeaway is simple. You don't just live off food and water, you live off light and subtle energy too. Hermetic tradition even teaches that your vital body has the opposite electrical polarity of your physical body, and that's the key to some of the biggest secrets in occult physiology. Here's how Heindel explained it. In women, the physical body is negative, while the vital body is positive. That extra positive charge means their bodies produce more blood than they actually need. The body releases this surplus through the menstrual cycle. In men, it's the opposite. Positive physical body, negative vital body, which leads to more balanced blood production without the need for monthly elimination. And this difference, he said, isn't just biological. It's tied to deep spiritual mysteries about each gender's role in human evolution. In the ancient Atlantean mystery schools, this polarity knowledge was considered sacred. It was one of the keys to understanding why men and women have different initiation paths in spiritual development. This polarity also explains some everyday things. That positive vital body in women means they generate a constant surplus of vitality, which can overflow in another form, tears. Rosicrucian tradition poetically calls this white bleeding, another way the body relieves vital pressure. Men, with their negative vital body, don't have that same constant surplus, so they don't need those kinds of relief valves. This surplus also explains why women often have greater natural psychic sensitivity. That extra positive vitality makes them more receptive to subtle impressions from the spiritual world. On the flip side, iron deficiency anemia is much more common in women, since iron lost during menstruation isn't always replaced through diet. Men, producing only the blood they need, keep their iron levels more stable. But here's the most important part. The same energy that flows through the vital body to power the physical one is also the creative force, what we usually call sexual energy. It's the same current that can create new life or, if consciously directed upward along the spine, can awaken latent spiritual abilities. The Rosicrucian Fellowship does teach methods to channel this force upward, but Heindel always warned, they're only given after years of moral preparation and under direct supervision. The ancient texts even talk about a nerve bundle called the cauda equina, Latin for horse's tail, at the end of the spine. Through safe, gradual practice, this area can be awakened, opening channels to higher perception. But here's the big warning. Rushing into this without the proper guidance can cause real harm, mental instability, even breakdown. That's why genuine Rosicrucian methods are never sold in a course or a book. They're given freely, but only when a student has earned them through years of proven discipline. If someone's trying to sell you a secret Kundalini awakening method, according to Heindel, at best they're mistaken, and at worst they're dangerous. The safest path is to channel your creative energy into positive outlets: art, music, deep study, and service to others. This keeps the force flowing without dangerous buildup. Simple habits can help too. Get enough quality sleep. Deep rest lets this energy circulate naturally. Limit stimulants like caffeine and alcohol. They stir up the energy in unhealthy ways. And practice slow, deep breathing from the diaphragm. It gently spreads the energy throughout your system. One of the most effective tools Rosicrucian students use is a nightly retrospection exercise. You mentally review your day backwards, learning from mistakes and releasing tension. This alone helps sublimate creative energy into higher uses. Beyond the vital body, Heindel described another layer, the desire body made of astral matter. Think of it as your emotional atmosphere. A luminous ovoid cloud extending about 16 to 20 inches beyond your physical form. Your dense body sits right in the middle, like a yolk in an egg white. This shape isn't random. It's the primordial form of manifestation. Inside, energy is always moving in swirling vortices. The largest one is centered near the liver, which ancient cultures linked with emotions. Energy flows out from there to the edges, then back through smaller whirlpools in different areas. The desire body is extremely sensitive. When one part feels something, the entire field feels it instantly, like ripples across a still lake when a stone drops in. That's why emotions can feel overwhelming. Every particle of your emotional body vibrates together. The colors of this body shift constantly based on your mood and experiences, though each person has a base tone influenced by the ruling planet at birth. Mars might give a deep crimson base, linked to a more assertive nature. Jupiter's influence tends toward blue tones, more expansive and optimistic. Saturn can add darker greens, tied to depth and seriousness. Ever notice how an argument makes your skin feel hot and your heart race? That's the astral currents surging, pumping emotional energy through your system. Modern psychosomatic research confirms it. Emotions change body chemistry instantly. You can calm this flow with simple techniques. Try breathing deeply to a count of 4. Hold for 4, exhale for 4, pause for 4, repeat for 3 minutes. This steadies the desire body, which in turn steadies your mood. This is one of the first exercises given to Rosicrucian probationers, building the foundation for more advanced emotional purification. The idea is to work with the desire body instead of suppressing it with medication or ignoring it until it causes physical illness. Creative expression, painting, music, writing, gives excess emotional energy a safe outlet. Quiet reflection helps the energy calm naturally. Honest conversations release built-up tension. The elder brothers have always emphasized purifying the desire body is essential before any real spiritual progress can happen. The mind is the fourth vehicle in this system, a super subtle layer that shapes how you see reality. According to Heindel, it's the newest addition to our spiritual toolkit, gained only in the last stages of the Atlantean era. That's why so many people still struggle with ordered, focused thinking. The mental body is still under construction for much of humanity. For someone with trained spiritual sight, the mental body often appears as a faint cloud, mostly gathered around the head. It's not yet as fully formed as the physical, vital, or desire bodies. The Rosicrucian school teaches concentration practices to help it develop, but always warns that intellectual growth without moral growth can be dangerous. There's also a fascinating feature visible to clairvoyance, a small, bright blue flame right in the center of the forehead, just above and between the eyebrows. This corresponds physically to the pineal gland. Heindel said this is the veil over the true spirit, the divine spark within you, that no outside force can penetrate. Ancient Egyptians called it the Veil of Isis, and it's considered the holiest part of the body temple. From this protected center comes your ability to say, I, and mean yourself, something no one else can do for you. Heindel linked this to the biblical moment when God breathed the breath of life into humanity, the birth of self-consciousness. The quality of your mental body directly affects the clarity of your thoughts. A scattered mind is like watching a movie on a dirty, wrinkled screen. Everything is distorted. But regular concentration smooths and clears that screen so images, thoughts form sharply. Modern neuroscience backs this up. Studies on meditation show that just 8 weeks of consistent practice can thicken the cerebral cortex in areas tied to focus, perception, and emotional regulation. The brain literally reshapes itself to match the mind's development. A basic Rosicrucian concentration drill is to sit upright, pick a simple object, a candle flame or a geometric symbol, and focus on it for 3 minutes, gently bringing your attention back whenever it wanders. Over time, this strengthens the mental body, making it a better conductor for your whole system. Now, put it all together. You're not just one thing, you're 4. The physical body is your hardware. the vital body powers it. The desire body fuels it with motivation and emotion, and the mental body directs it. When one is out of balance, the whole orchestra plays out of tune. Without the vital body, you'd be like a mineral, physical matter with no growth or movement. Without the desire body, you'd be like a plant, alive, but with no will or direction. Without the mind, you'd act only on instinct like an animal. Evolution, according to Rosicrucian teaching, is about refining all four bodies so they can work together. In everyday life, the interaction is constant. Eat a heavy meal late at night, and the vital body spends so much energy digesting that your defenses drop. The next morning, the desire body is irritable, and the mental body can't focus. In illness, the physical and vital bodies both weaken as one draws energy from the other. Emotional stress locks up your breathing, draining vital energy and creating real physical pain. The Rosicrucian approach to healing always addresses all four levels, because a physical symptom might have an emotional or mental root. And the solution is often simpler than you think. Heindel's daily routine has been tested for over a century. Move your body in the morning to wake up the vital circulation. Get sunlight, especially on the back of the neck and upper back, where key energy centers are. Name your dominant emotion of the day to calm the desire body, and spend 3 minutes focusing the mind on one point to build clarity. Do this for a week, and you'll notice the difference. The four bodies start working together instead of pulling against each other. The Rosicrucian motto sums it up: a sane mind, a soft heart, a sound body, the Trinity expressed through the four vehicles of human existence. But here's the real secret. Just knowing about these bodies isn't enough. Mastery comes from experiencing them directly through meditation. In deep stillness, the physical quiets, the vital settles, the emotional calms, and the mind becomes crystal clear. In that silence, you realize you're not just the conductor of this four-part orchestra, you're also the composer. You're the co-creator of the symphony of your life. And the way to connect with that creative intelligence is through practice. Consistent, patient, daily practice. That's why we've created a set of guided meditations based on these same techniques preserved by the Rosicrucian tradition for centuries. They're designed to tune each body one by one so you can experience the unity behind them all. If this message resonates with you, if you feel the truth of it, drop a comment saying, "This made sense to me." And if you're ready to experience it, check the link for the full meditation series and start your own practice today.